All right, in the last video, we looked at the customary measurement system, and now we're going to look at the metric system. So the metric system is based on base 10, and so it makes converting a little bit easier. So we're just going to look at a few of these for today, and then we'll look at some in more detail later on. So 100 centimeters makes a meter. So if you remember on the last video, I showed you the yardstick. Well, this one is a meter stick. So it's a little bit longer than a yardstick. So it consists of 100 centimeters to make one of these. So 100 centimeters makes 1 meter. It takes 1,000 millimeters to make a meter. So if I'm looking on here, I see centimeters are the bigger measurements. But then in between each centimeter, and I know you can't really see that, but in between each centimeter, we've got millimeters. So it takes 10 millimeters to make a centimeter. So there's 10 little bitty millimeters in between each centimeter. So there's 1,000 millimeters on here. And then 1 meter, one of these, this should actually say 1,000 meters would equal a kilometer. So it would take 1,000 of these to make a kilometer. So these are all used in measuring length or distances, and the kilometers or kilometers, those are used, when we're measuring far off distances, comparable to miles. So it takes 1,000 meters to make a kilometer. So those are our length or distance measurements. And then if we're measuring weight or mass, we use grams in the metric system. So we're just going to look at 1,000 grams equals a kilogram. And then if we're measuring liquid in the measurement system, we use liters. So for liters, it takes 1,000 milliliters to make a liter. So that's what this would be. It takes 1,000 of the little milliliters to make 1 liter. And, you can think about, this is a liter size Sprite bottle. A lot of times you may get them in the 2 liter size, but this one is a little bit smaller, so it's just a liter. So that can kind of help now when we are looking at whether we are going from a larger unit to a smaller unit. So just the same as what we did with customary units, we're going to multiply or divide. So I've got a couple of practice problems that we're going to do. So if I had 5 meters and I'm changing it to centimeters, 5 meters to centimeters, I can look over here and there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So remember, the meters are the bigger one. So I'm going from the larger unit to the smaller unit. So I'm going to multiply. So when I go from large to small, I multiply. Now that can help you remember that too. So 5 times 100. So this is where it, gets a little bit easier because we're multiplying by powers of 10. So 5 times 100 gives me 500 centimeters. So now, on this second example, I'm going from centimeters to meters. So I'm doing the opposite. Now I have the small centimeters and I'm trying to figure out how many meters that would be. So I'm going from the small to the large, so I'm going to divide. So 700 and then divided by 100. And for some reason, I'm not doing good on writing today. So 700 divided by 100, that gives me 7 meters. So this is just kind of an overview that we will go into more detail with this. Also, I wanted to mention too, we have temperature. We use thermometers to measure temperature. And then I have Celsius and Fahrenheit. So those are my 2 measurements for temperature on the Celsius scale or with the Fahrenheit. All right, so there's just a couple more questions for you to finish up for today, and let me know if you have any questions.